Good morning, everyone. I hope you're off to a fantastic Friday. Today, the last day of the week, I'd like to take a moment to discuss the situation here in South Korea because there appears to be a lot of confusion. And a lot of it, I think, is perpetrated by several media organizations around the world as they look to sensationalize the headlines and really overstate what's really going on. And the reason why I'm bringing that up this morning is because a really good friend of mine posted an article from news.com.au in which the headline reads, and I quote, "Evacuation plans for 7,000 Australians living in South Korea as North Korea prepares for nuclear strike against the United States." That's pretty scary. But in reality, once you get into the article, it's actually a fair and balanced article. It clearly states the facts. It states that there are evacuation plans for Australians here in South Korea. And it actually goes into great detail stating that nothing has really changed. Yes, there are evacuation plans. The U.S. Embassy has evacuation plans for all of us citizens here in South Korea. But you know what? I have yet to be contacted even once by the U.S. Embassy to even signify that there's actually heightened tensions in South Korea. So a headline like that does nothing but spread a little bit of fear across the world. There's the old adage, if it bleeds, it leads, and this is a good example of that. So if you're looking for news about South Korea, about North Korea, and what the threat really is, you really need to look beyond the headlines and look at the fundamental story. I've been on the BBC 4 times in the last 2 days, and a lot of the conversation has always been around, well, what's the mood? What's really going on in South Korea? And a lot of people outside of South Korea really are surprised that we're very calm, that we don't live in a state of fear because so many people are looking at the headlines. On the BBC yesterday, there was an article, a quote by BBC Radio stating that the former ambassador to South Korea from the United Kingdom thought that war was imminent. And that was in direct contrast to the defense minister who held a press conference yesterday saying that he sees no signs of a looming war. And it's that kind of misinformation that can really ratchet up the tension and cause a lot of fear. A couple of tweets that I think that you should be aware of. Steve Herman from The Voice of America had a great tweet yesterday. Let's see. He said, the favorites here. He said, foreign TV crews descending on Seoul this week are stymied and baffled by the inability to find a panicky South Korean for a man on the street interview. And that's true. Virtually no one here is afraid. We are going about our daily business as if it was usual. Choju Hee says, but on the streets of Seoul, no sign of panic, no drills. People shrug off when asked why or what they think. Sangwon Yoon, who writes for Bloomberg, said South Korea Defense Minister Kim Kwon-jin tells lawmakers he's not seeing any signs of full-scale war with North Korea breaking out. So that's what's really going on here. Why is this happening? Well, there's a lot of speculation, and who knows what the real fundamental cause is, but myself and others believe that because Kim Jong-un has only been in office, been in power for a little over a year, that he's using this opportunity, this joint exercise, to bolster up his support within the party, to prove that he is the next great leader of North Korea. And what is the end game of all this bolstering? Well, again, most likely it's because he wants to solidify his power within North Korea. There was some great discussion before he took the dictatorship over from Kim Jong-il when he passed away, on whether or not the generals would really follow him. And last night, Steve Herman, also from, as I mentioned, from Voice of America, mentioned that a possible way to finally de-escalate and get rid of this would be that once the joint exercise is done, Kim Jong-un can just say, okay, I am victorious. I stood up to the United States. I stood up to South Korea in the wake of nuclear disaster, in the wake of all these nuclear threats, and we survived. And that could be the end of it. What's really going to happen? I don't know. But it's really important not to take these little minute steps and blow them out of proportion. Nothing is changed from the way that North Korea operates. It just hasn't. It just hasn't. If you have any questions, please post them down below. I will be out of the country for the next week on a press trip to the Philippines, but I will try to update via Facebook and Twitter. So please follow me at Chi Ranger, and I will get back to you as best I can and share the important stories as they come out. All right, you guys have a great Friday, and I'll talk to you soon.